Hello and welcome back to our lesson 5.8 video on applying special right triangles. The first video talked about 45, 45, 90 special right triangles, and in this video we're going to once again recap 30, 60, 90 special right triangles. We did talk about this in class, but once again want to go over how we get a 30, 60, 90 special right triangle. Alright, so if we start with an equilateral triangle, remember, all sides are congruent, and we draw in an altitude or a height, we get two congruent triangles. Now, since all the angles of an equilateral triangle measure 60 degrees, the measure of one acute angle is 60 degrees, and the measure of the other is half of 60, or 30 degrees. So another name for this right triangle is a 30, 60, 90. All right, and we can use Pythagorean theorem to find a relationship among the side lengths of a 30, 60, 90 triangle. You'll remember that I did that in class, and so we'd get the relationships of the sides to be this. Remember, we took an equilateral triangle and we cut it in half. So the short leg of a special right triangle that's 30, 60, 90, if we call that S for the side length, we can call the hypotenuse twice that, 2S. Then by using Pythagorean theorem, you'll remember that we got the longer leg is S times the square root of 3. So let's put this into practice and try a couple examples. Okay, here you'll see a 30, 60, 90 right triangle where the short leg is called X, the longer leg is called Y, and the hypotenuse is 22. We want to find the values of X and Y. Remember, the hypotenuse of a 30, 60, 90 triangle is equal to 2 times the shorter leg. So if I fill in what I know, hypotenuse is 22, and the shorter leg we're calling x. So I can solve this equation for x by dividing both sides by 2, and x is 11. Now to find the longer leg equals the shorter leg times the square root of 3. Well, the shorter leg was 11. So when I say y equals x root 3, because the longer leg equals the shorter leg times the square root of 3, I can substitute 11 for x. So y equals 11 root 3. And that is in simplest radical form, so that is your answer for y. Let's take a look at example 3b. In this example, we've got another special right triangle where the 60 degree angle is here. That would make the 30 degree angle here. So the shorter leg is called x, but this side that they call y is actually the hypotenuse. The longer leg here is called 10 root 3. So make sure you understand these are in the correct positions. X is the shorter leg, 10 root 3 is the longer leg, so we have to find y, the hypotenuse. Let's start by finding the longer leg, because we have that measurement. Remember, the longer leg equals the shorter leg times the square root of 3. So when I fill these in, the longer leg is 10 root 3. The shorter leg is x, and so I say 10 root 3 equals x times root 3. And now we solve this equation for x. We divide both sides by the square root of 3. They cancel on the right, and they will also cancel on the left, so x is just 10. Since the shorter leg is 10, we can use this to find the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse y is 2 times the shorter leg, so y equals 2x. So we can substitute 10 in for x, so y equals 2 times 10, and simplify to get that y is 20. Let's try 3c. Let's find the values of x and y in this situation. We have another 30, 60, 90. This is the 60 degree angle here. So the longer leg is this side, 15. The shorter leg is x, and again we're looking for the hypotenuse y. The first thing we're going to do is use the longer leg, so we're going to use this statement. The longer leg equals the shorter leg times the square root of 3. And fill in what we know. The longer leg is 15, the shorter leg is x. So 15 equals x times the square root of 3. And we're going to divide both sides by the square root of 3 to get x by itself. That leaves 15 over the square root of 3, but this causes a problem. We cannot leave our answer as 15 over root 3. You can't have the radical in the denominator of a fraction. So we need to multiply top and bottom by square root of 3. When you multiply the top by square root of 3 and bottom by square root of 3, you get 15 root 3 over 3, but 15 divided by 3 is 5. So when you rationalize the denominator, you get 5 root 3. So x, the shorter leg, is 5 root 3. Now, to find y, the hypotenuse, we use this. hypotenuse equals 2 times the shorter leg. So y equals 2 times x. So we're going to take our value for x and substitute it in. Sorry, that's the wrong value in the blue. Don't worry about that. Just plug it in here. Y equals 2 times 5 root 3. So y equals 10 root 3. This is the correct value for y. All right, here are some extra examples. Again, find some space in your packet or on a separate sheet of paper to work these out and check your answers for some extra practice. Let's find the values of x and y here. You have a 30, 60, 90 triangle where the hypotenuse is 18 root 3. Just because there's a square root of 3 there, do not confuse that. Remember, this is the hypotenuse. And so just because there's a square root of 3 does not make it the longer leg. That's actually the hypotenuse. Why don't you take a few moments, set up your equations to try and find x and y. Pause the video if you need some more time, and then when you're ready to check your answers, click play. Okay, if you're ready to go, we should get something like, remember, the hypotenuse equals the shorter leg times 2. So 18 root 3 equals 2 times x. To get x by itself, you divide both sides by 2. 18 divided by 2 is 9. So the shorter leg is 9 root 3. Now to find y, we use the longer leg equals the shorter leg times the square root of 3. So y equals x times root 3. So we're going to plug in 9 root 3 for x. That will mean that we multiply 9 square root of 3 times the square root of 3. But you'll remember, root 3 times root 3 is 3. And then we take that combined value of 3 times 9, and we get 27. Let's try 3b. Let's find the values of x and y. Again, pause the video if you need some more time, but I want you to try and work this one out on your own, and then we'll check our answers. When you're ready, go ahead and click play. Okay, we should get something like this. To find the shorter leg first, we're going to use the given hypotenuse. Hypotenuse equals 2 times the shorter leg. 24 equals 2 times x. Then we divide both sides by 2 and realize x is 12. If x is 12, to find y, we use this. The longer leg equals the shorter leg times the square root of 3. So y equals x times root 3. And we plug in 12 for x. And this cannot be simplified any further, so the value of y is 12 root 3. All right, you'll notice here we have a lesson quiz. We have some problems that are more examples that you can work on. Why don't you take a few minutes and try and find answers here, and then I will display the answers in just a few moments. Pause the video so that you can get all these worked out, and then when you have all the answers on your paper, then you can click play. Okay, for number 1, x should be root 6 over 2. Y is 3 root 2 over 2. For number 2, x should be 5 root 3. Y should be 10. For number 3, x is 5 root 2. And number 4, x is 9 root 2 over 2, or you might have said 4.5 times the square root of 2, but we don't ever put it as a decimal like that. All right, that concludes our video for Lesson 5.8, Day 2. Attached is the second worksheet that we will actually begin in class on Monday. Again, if you have any questions, just make sure we talk about them during class. Thank you.